Good morning, afternoon, evening from wherever you are, and welcome to NerdTube. And it's time to talk about Starfleet Academy, Season 1, Episode 5, Sam.
Series
Uh,
Acclimation Mirror.
yeah. Or as
Something
in the
like that.
future, I think in the future this will be known as the DS9 episode. Um,
That's what I put as the title.
yeah,
This
exactly. I saw that. So yeah. So, anyways, sorry, my birds are now going crazy. Um,
bum, bum, bum,
First of all, we'd
bum.
just like to say that Mage will not be with us today as he has some personal issues. So I'm hosting the show. And instead of really just doing a play-by-play, we're going to be basically debating this episode. Hopefully Jefferson will be joining us later if he gets the opportunity to. I'm here with Cheeto and Lord Donkey. And I just want to get your initial impressions and thoughts of this episode. I'll start with you, Donkey.
Well, not being the DS9 expert in the room, I really liked it. Um, it seemed like they were trying to do something really nice as far as commemorating Avery and DS9 in a, I guess, I don't know. They were trying to be not trying to be good about it, nice about it, like do it in a way that was respectful of the show.
Okay, Cheeto.
My overall thoughts on this episode, we can break it down a little bit more in a little bit, but there were parts that I really liked and there were parts that I did not like. So, I mean, you can probably imagine which parts I did not like. You can probably, Rick B is going to say, "Oh, it's all bad. Oh, it all sucked." Yeah, see, the fact is this episode sucked. Yes, of course it did, Rick B, because you would know sucking. Anyway, but yeah, so no, there were parts of this episode that worked for me. There were parts of this episode that didn't work for me. So yeah, so I'm going to shoot it down to Jefferson. Welcome. We are live.
Good. I think I got here just in time, hopefully.
Yeah, we're just giving our overview of the episode,
Good.
like what we thought.
Man, Zam, you look freshly waxed there up on the dome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, that's
Nice
good.
and shiny.
I
shaved it today.
I cleaned mine up just the other day. Yeah, absolutely.
Listen, everybody has to have a fresh shaving for the NerdTube stuff.
Mhm.
Yes,
They look sharp
you need to
on
come
this show.
presentable. Yeah, show up presentable. So initial thoughts for me on the episode is another knocked it out of the park. Was looking forward all day to talking about this one. We got not closure. We got the follow up that we've been wanting so much ever since we got What You Leave Behind, and the thought of what a season 8 of DS9 would be like. So I was very pleased that they tackled the mystery of Benjamin Sisko with this one.
Okay. Quick comments here from Rick B before I give you my opinions. Hello everyone. I think we can all agree with the fact that this episode sucked. There was nothing in this episode that was good. And Mage is also chiming in. Hello, Mage. Thank you for joining us. Hi, folks. We've got the all clear from the city and we're on our way home. Fantastic. And actually, that reminds me, let me give you Mage's opinions before I give you mine. Mike said, when this episode worked for me, it really worked, but a couple of things stopped it from being in the upper echelon for me. As stated before, I'm not the target audience for teen drama. Well, they weren't. They neither am I soapboxing that nobody should. The B plot also felt tacked on due to it not being fully realized, at least not this week. Sam getting an episode early on is great, so she can evolve past naive and peppy teenager and onto being a more nuanced, photonic character. I love the segment with Craig Lofton as Sir Rock. Sorry, I apologize. I forgot how his name was spelled. Sir Rock Lofton as adult Jake Sisko, also known as Jefferson's great grandson. I believe 3 greats on that one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And also the voiceover from Avery Brooks at the end. Those moments brought more than one tear to my eyes, touching and emotional without being heavy-handed. All in all, more than good than bad, but too much stuff that doesn't land for me for a high score. And he did also give his marks. He gave it an 8 out of 10. All right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to be the odd one out
Spoilers.
today. I'm going to be the other one. I have more issues with this episode than I liked it. I'm going to get to what I liked it initially. Obviously, the nostalgic parts of it were really great. Not only is the Doctor now part of this series, so is Dax, which is excellent. So we have a Voyager character and a DS9 character back on this show, and seeing Sirok on our screens as an adult Jake Sisko was really cool. The entity that Sam was speaking to, I know that voice. That was Avery Brooks, yeah.
No.
Okay.
No, Avery Brooks was at the very end epilogue, but you mean the voice of the
no, sorry, I apologize. Sorry,
holographic
Avery Brooks. Yeah, sorry. I thought I meant to say John Delancey, but I don't think that's him either.
No. I mean, I can't say that I thought that it sounded familiar to me. It was just
I knew there was some. I really thought there was somebody there,
voice.
but overall, what I did like the opening on this episode made me realize to myself, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna like this one. With the sort of like, there's this thing you guys do across the pond where you try to make humor through awkward scenarios and situations, and I don't really appreciate that.
That's my whole personality.
Yeah, but then you also throw this whimsical music in it, like it's like Malcolm in the Middle or something, and it for me, it just doesn't work as in Star Trek that much. I like the idea of following Sam, and to a degree, this episode was created in a way to make it resemble who Sam is as a person. I get that, but overall, the best parts about it was when Sam was studying, and if we kind of maybe followed this episode more as her education than her fourth wall breaking all the time and all of this bollocks. I would maybe appreciate it a little bit more. I was not liking the fourth wall breaking.
This was the Miss Marvel episode, is what I originally wanted to call it, the Miss Marvel episode.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And finally, but I don't want to go on about this too long. That subplot with them having I don't understand what that subplot was about at all. It
was to get us more time with the Chancellor's feet.
Yes, and so I thought this like the elements of this episode I did like. It did not save this episode whatsoever, and I did like some of the elements of this episode, but overall, this is a dud for me. But let's start talking about some things here regarding this episode. Like I said, with the opening of it and knowing that it's going to be a Sam episode, I don't know how you guys felt with this intro. I'll start with you, Jefferson. I was going. You're bursting at the seams, Donkey. Gone.
No,
Jefferson.
Okay. I like the intro because I like the intro because it's different, it's new. I appreciate that they keep throwing things at us that are unconventional. That really tries to get us to expand our boundaries on what Star Trek is, because I won't besmirch them the reminders that this show is not about seasoned, decades long careers Starfleet officers, in that it is a younger audience and a younger crew. And instead of putting young adults and make them stiff as if it were, your traditional Starfleet military, no one smiles or laughs academy, that'd be one thing. But actually embracing the age of your characters and where they are, I think it was cool. I liked looking at it because that opening was something that we hadn't seen before, and I was like, yeah, I could dig this.
Okay. Cheeto, you want to chime in?
Yeah. I mean, I really feel like this episode would have been much better as a Lower Decks episode. I really
What?
feel like, yeah, I really feel like this. I mean, and honestly, Sam as a character fits in better with Lower Decks than in this show, in my opinion. I don't think Sam's a necessarily bad character. The way that they're presenting her is a bit too abstract for me. And I
Bit
mean,
quirky.
huh?
Bit too quirky.
She
Maybe not even quirky. Just like like I can deal with quirky. She's just very abstract. Like she's just very off the chain.
she's your Pelia of this show.
She really is my Pelia of this show.
Mm.
Yeah, it's not that, and I mean, as I said, I don't have a problem with her too much. The drunk. I mean, if we're just talking, I'm not trying to derail everything, but like the drunk parts, I absolutely hated. I thought it was dumb. I thought it was the fact that they could just turn her up to 12. Like it would have been more fun if they would have been like, okay, as we drink, your thing will go up so that you act more drunk with us or something like that, or so a little more creative. But no, he's
Yeah.
just like, oh, we're just gonna turn it all the way up, and now you're just
No, she did. She
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 did that.
the Mario box of ding 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 ding.
yeah. And I'm like, no. So yeah, so I mean, and as I said, the Miss Marvel parts of this, whatever. I didn't think it was that great, but at the same time, this show is not geared towards me. So that part, maybe I'll get my kids to watch it and see what they think. Yeah, no, they're not gonna watch it. Like they won't watch any Star Trek because apparently I'm a nerd. So yeah, my kids, Donkey, like they won't.
I can see them calling you a nerd.
Yeah, but they do all the time. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Sam as a character is a little bit grating because the thing about the Doctor is that when he came in, he was kind of like very matter of fact and he was kind of an asshole. And like, did I want her to be that? No. But at the same time, it's like I feel like she's just been like, it's like if Data came into us with his emotion chip already in, and it's like we didn't get to go on the journey with her where she figures out, from being a literal like computer or computer program with subroutines and expanding on that. And I think that's what was made the Doctor so great, is that we grew with the Doctor. Whereas Sam is like this fully realized, sometimes annoying person. And we don't get to kind of do that growing with her, whereas it feels like she's more she's just more, I don't know, fully fleshed out already. And it's just like, I don't know. I kind of miss the baseline of the character growth. You know what I mean? Like I did like the aspects of this where she was exploring Cisco and where she related with Cisco with some things. That stuff I actually liked. I like the fact where she related with a lot of things with Cisco being an emissary as well as he's an emissary. Like that stuff I liked. But like this whole like, I want to go experience the Cisco and go to the clubbing and blah. And I'm like, first off, Cisco never clubbed. I think I missed the point as to why
Didn't he?
Well, the Cisco we got never clubbed.
In the academy, he probably did.
Yeah, I'm sure we all did. But the current
everyone lets loose in the academy.
Including Picard. He went really loose and through his heart.
Anyway, let's go to Donkey. What are you going to say?
Hold on. I need to move my screen over.
And another thing.
No. I'm too distracted by Rick B to form my own thoughts. So now I don't see them.
Turn away from the toxicity.
It's so distracting and so annoying. So I moved it aside. I get where you're coming from with Sam because she's so high energy. She's 17 days old, right? 17, or she's programmed to be 17, but she is 17 days old or something.
I thought she was like 4 months old, but she was programmed to be 17.
A few months.
Something like that. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess throwing her in there with that level of a personality without anything but background is a lot to take in. It's a lot to deal with. we finally get to see something about where she comes from today, which was good.
Oh,
Oh, bye, Zam. I wanted to see more of that. Um, kind of the motives behind the place she comes from, which I was not getting good vibes from where she comes from at all. Like, we're going to you're a failure. We're going to terminate you in 1 week if you don't. Like, not good there. I really appreciated that she's learning the theremin, like, so she can play the TOS intro for us maybe one day soon. That'd be good. I don't know. I feel like it's another issue that we've had with all the other shows where with only 10 episodes, we're losing that background. We're losing that ability to flesh this character out. So instead, we get immediate hyper high energy when we could have had some fleshing out to make this character more rounded. I don't dislike her. I think there's a way to go.
There we go. Rick B said it. Love this episode. It's the best Star Trek episode ever. We frame it and we have it at the top of every episode, everything we do.
Okay.
That could work.
When this episode began, I was starting to get a little bit concerned.
What the hell's going on?
Bring Donkey in. Like, you know, when she's walking around and she's like doing her thing, and like everyone's speeding around her like she's the Flash, you know, like what the hell? And then one guy stops and gives her a fucking howdy do, and what the hell is this bollocks I'm watching here?
So there's a lot of perception issues that I had with this episode too. Like, what's real, what's not real? Is she imagining things? Can she imagine? Like, that was one of the things I was going to get into. But yeah, go ahead.
But I know we harp on about this being a teen drama, and I totally get that as well. But teen dramas don't have to have certain elements to it, like this one's having it at times. And last week's episode was also the teen drama, and I felt it was delivered in a much better way. Tony Newton did write this current episode 5, and you can feel her influence all over it, you know, in the way things were delivered, you know, with a whimsical comedy, so to speak. So no wonder you thought it was a Lower Decks episode, considering that. But once we did move on from that, and then we found out, okay, this is her assignment. It's going to be about finding out what happened to Sisko, Benjamin Sisko, that is. Mm-hmm. I was all on board, you know, to a degree. You know, like there was still a lot of this episode that really irked me. But at least that was a good segue into what we're going to get from this episode, and also try to understand Sam a little bit better. Were you guys very briefly? But I want to just get things to go a bit faster now. Jefferson, you being our Cisco dude, how did you feel knowing that she's going to be doing a paper on Cisco?
So the thing that worries me about Sam is it's a little too much Tootie from Facts of Life. And in that context of that show, you know, great. I just feel like they're towing a very delicate line where this character could be too much. Because I understand what all of you guys are saying, and at first I was kind of like, you know, if there was anyone else that could be the one doing the paper on Benjamin Sisko, that would be great. I don't know who, but Sam was probably not my first choice or second. But I mean, she, you know, I can't say that she didn't not pull it off. It was fine. I see where you guys feel like this would have been good as a Lower Decks episode, and I'm very, very glad that Lower Decks left DS9 alone and didn't didn't mire it with their.
Except for the one episode where they circled.
They did like one or two episodes.
Keep circling.
Yeah,
They actually went on DS9.
Yeah, they were on there,
Yeah.
right? Well, because Lower Decks had to touch everything; they couldn't leave anything alone. But when it came to the actual seriousness of Captain Sisko, I'm glad that was handled and wasn't a reference joke of Lower Decks. But Sam being the one to be the character for that, I don't know. I don't think it failed with her being the one, nor do I think it was resounding success. That doesn't take away from how I felt about the episode. I really liked the episode. But yeah, I don't know. I would probably have a different opinion on it, in the coming days, whether or not I thought, using Sam was actually not all that bad. But that's just kind of how I felt when I was watching it.
All right, very quickly, Donkey. Just knowing that we're going to be getting Sisko as our port card, so to speak. Goosebumps.
Well, that's the problem. I haven't watched a whole lot of DS9. I'm sorry, Cheeto. Very sorry. Hey, you're the one that doesn't have Sisko in your background right now. That's disgraceful.
You're right. It is disgraceful. I didn't want to pull it out.
I mean, but what? Just as far as us going there and having the DS9 Sisko episode?
This is going to be the Sam episode, but obviously it needs to be more than just, she needs to be doing something to make it the Sam episode. And this something happens to be doing a report card on Sisko.
Yeah, a report card. I mean, I think that, that it was her connecting with Sisko with this backstory that they're throwing right at us. The whole beginning was a lot of exposition on who she is, where she came from, all of that. It would have been nice if they had brought some of that in earlier in the series, in the show. But connecting with him as an emissary makes sense, since they just now told us that she is an emissary. They didn't really mention anything like that before, right? Just that she was the first photonic being.
Not
she's
that
a she's a god, an alien god.
She's a god. Oh yeah. So,
what does God mean with an emissary?
What does God mean with a starship? And I like that they had her really do her research, and like where she replicated all the food from the restaurant and has everybody trying the food. That was a great scene.
That's the part I liked about this episode. I thought that was a real.
This
fun
is so spicy. I can't not eat it.
I like that part too.
Yeah, I did like that part. That's the part that I liked. Is like, as I said, her doing the research, her actually experiencing some of that stuff.
So Cheeto, so you know if I pass on to Cheeto. So Cheeto, you being the DS9 lover, this must have tantalized you a little bit, seeing that she's going to be trying to figure out more about what happened to Sisko.
Yeah. I was very looking forward to this episode. I knew this episode was coming. I didn't know if it was going to be like a subplot of an episode or a main plot of an episode. And I'm glad it was like a main part of the episode. So I don't know what I was expecting going into this, but I do. And somebody in the comments, I'm not going to mention any names, said that, they revealed absolutely nothing about what happened to Sisko. Incorrect. They revealed that Sisko has still not yet come back from the Celestial Temple. They also revealed that the Doctor and Jake Sisko had met each other in the 25th century. They had also, there's a lot of revelations from this Sisko family. If you pause and you look, you can actually see the Sisko family tree after Benjamin Sisko and Cassidy Yates. So there's a lot there to, there's a lot of closure here with a lot of the Sisko stuff. And honestly, I'm glad Sisko never came back. And I'm glad they closed the book on Sisko. Not because I don't want to see him again, but just because it's like sometimes you just need to close the book on some stuff, you know,
Yeah, yeah. You're right. And the thing is that Avery Brooks is not coming back to Cisco like Sir Patrick Stewart did for Picard. He's firmly retired, so you're not going to get his appearance, like in a revival. Even the epilogue at the end of this episode wasn't something he recorded for this episode. It was it came off of a jazz
That's
album.
what I was wondering.
Right? Yeah. No, he didn't record something new for this. It was
however,
just
he did go over the episode with the producers. I did
Right.
hear that.
right. There was that. Yes. They didn't just do it without him knowing.
Yeah.
It's just that he didn't add anything new in regards to his his face, likeness, or voice. He didn't even do a line read. It was something he had previously had done. But it's a tough one. It's a tough one because you want to have closure on the character, especially after you've been bringing not so much closure, but bringing characters back that we grew up with in the 90s and the 90s era Trek. We got more of the whole TNG cast. We got some more of Seven of Nine and Tuvok and all of that. But for DS9, they never really quite went there with any of the characters. It's like they always just kind of danced around it. They would do TNG, then skip to Voyager. And I don't know why they always seem to kind of shy away from DS9.
Except
And what?
Except Lord X.
Shut up, Cheeto.
Keep circling.
And yeah, but I think that that's a tough call to make. Is that okay? Really, we want to have some follow up. Let's not call it closure for Cisco. Some follow up, but yet it's 1,000 years after we last saw him, we're never getting Avery Brooks back. But as soon as we do this, like that's it. He can't suddenly decide he's going to come out of retirement, and now you can only be a part of the 32nd century and a something that no one's ever going to, you're not going to believe. It's already hard enough to believe that so much attention was devoted to this character of that age, and they're doing they're getting a little too close to stretching the belief that after all of this time that we have the Doctor, okay, sooner or later you're going to have to answer as to how and why the Doctor is still operable and still around after this much time. Okay, that's coming and knocking. We have a Dax,
which I would like to talk about the Dax here in a little. Once you're done, I would like to talk about the Dax.
Right. So we have a Dax descendant. We've got Jet Reno, but she was part of the displaced crew of the Discovery. But then you've also got
Tilly will be back soon, I guess, as a guest.
Yeah. Well, I guess.
And we've got Admiral Vance as well.
Let me step back from that. I'm not going to count the Discovery crew, but the Doctor is a stretch already. Now you have a Dax descendant. That's kind of a stretch. You kind of have to wonder, okay, I get that you want to tie this to things we're familiar with, but you're the ones that took the story into the 32nd century, and I don't know that we can completely be on board with all these descendants surviving. Now, they haven't gone crazy with it, but it's like, be careful.
They went with the plausible ones, though, which is...
Yeah.
They went with the plausible ones. One is not human, and the other one is a symbiote that gets passed down from generation.
But okay, so here's the thing: is that it is mentioned, and I want to bring this up, is that the symbiotes only live for 500 to 800 years. So I mean,
That was going to be my first question.
yeah, and according to technically, and I did not do this research, but according to what I've read, like the Dax symbiote is now, if that is the Dax symbiote, it is, and maybe medical technology has come a long way, and that's what's extending its life. But it's over 1,000 years old at this point. Because remember, there was 7 or 8 hosts before Jadzia or Ezri, one of the two. Like before that. So,
Curzon.
well, even before Curzon, I think there was 6 before him. So again, that's why I'm saying it's like if this symbiote is still alive after it's over 1,000 years old now. Now maybe technology on Trill has figured
time
out
travel.
Well,
or
what
time
happened
travel,
in the
you're right.
Discovery episode where they visited Trill? Because that allowed them to have hosts that were non-Trill, not the Trill people. And this version of Dax, was she Cardassian or something?
Yeah, she was Cardassian.
Half Trill, half Cardassian.
Half Trill, half. So she was still half.
Yeah, but
Trill.
she had the spots of the Trill.
And you're right. Like there can be non-Trill hosts at this point because of Discovery Season 3. However, still their lifespan goes from 500 to 800 years to over 1,000. Like that's a big stretch.
All right, let's get to some comments here. Mage O'Rage says if they had that would have been complained about too. Trek writers are kind of damned if they do, damned if they don't. And look, let's just be honest regarding Trek. Not like there's so many inconsistencies, even with the symbiote thing. I'm willing to give it a pass. But anyway, sorry. You want to say something, Donkey?
Well, to that point, and to Mage's point, it kind of bold of them to even approach this, right? They could have just let things be and try not to piss people off by bringing a big chunk of DS9 back.
Yeah, but I mean,
making everyone upset.
If you had a whole thing that's like unexplained mysteries, like the gateway to the
See, that was giving me Ancient Alien vibes, like all the mysteries along the wall.
Yeah,
like the gateway, the Cisco.
They had the gateway of tomorrow or whatever it's called. I don't remember.
Aliens.
But like if they didn't have Cisco in there, then that's a disservice to Cisco because he's one of the most pivotal characters, at least in the 24th century.
Yeah.
So I mean, I as I said, even if it was
he stopped a war.
Yeah.
He saved billions of lives, so I get it. It's like at what point is someone on the Star Trek staff, Star Trek show, going to have to pony it up and say we got to do something about this person? Now, granted, the Federation and their allies, they did not win the Dominion War; they just didn't lose. So I'm going to make sure I use that wording. And I think that as important as he was, there was going to be a reckoning as to, you've got to have some kind of appreciable, respectable something. It doesn't have to be. I was a little disappointed that they're not going to even go anywhere near considering beta canon where Cisco came back to Starfleet. But I also appreciate that they didn't try to solve any mysteries here because it was already a tricky subject to bring up anyway. And who wants the responsibility of one, that, two, being the one to try to come up with some way of Cisco coming back from the prophets now, because there was an episode about him. So it's like, you're right. There was no way out of this one, but you really couldn't just keep ignoring it.
All right, so back to the comments. Sorry, I was going to get to this, but I never read it. We don't need any closure for Cisco. He had the perfect ending to his character. Leave DS9 alone. They established that the Doctor program could run for centuries in Voyager, though. Fair enough. Thank you, May, for mentioning that. Daniel Vance, welcome to the stream. This episode was like an episode of Mork and Ork. Wasn't it Mork and Mindy? With Mork calling Orson to give his report. Come in, Orson. Daniel Vance also says symbiotes can live up to 20,000 years. I call Dax's return when we were we were talking about.
I would like a reference on that because everything I read said anywhere between 500 and 800 years.
Yeah.
Maybe in there's a reference in beta canon to them living for thousands of years, but I mean, sure, if you want to consider beta canon, but still thousands is a lot different than 20,000. Seriously, I believe you, Daniel Vance, but I want references so I can look it up.
A couple more questions. I want a couple more questions. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, please.
It was a virtual exhibit within Starfleet Academy. She didn't go to New Orleans and touch things and poke.
Yeah, she brought New Orleans to her.
It was just holographic.
Which is funny that it's like, oh, we have teleporters, but we're gonna have a virtual museum.
But
come here instead of just teleporting over there. But
I thought it was kind of stupid.
They have to keep it so grounded.
Well, I thought it was kind of stupid that she was like sitting there talking to the orb like it was actually there when it was established that it was like a hollow recreation of the museum.
That was one of my big disappointments. We're talking all this and we didn't even leave. We didn't leave Earth or San Francisco when we very much could have.
You could have left. You could have gone to New Orleans. I agree, but sorry. Let me.
Could have gone to DS9 or tell us what happened to the station.
I was going to say, I'm pretty sure DS9's not there anymore. It's probably
decommissioned. Yeah, I like how she was walking around the Cisco Museum and just allowed to touch her finger and orb. Why is that orb not on Bajor?
Yeah, and it's a hollow recreation.
Yeah, the virtual museum, Rick B, as Major says. And that's and was that Benny's typewriter in the museum? Jake always used to use a pad or.
I did notice the typewriter from Benny from the episode. What's it called? The one where it's Far
Beyond the Stars.
Yeah, Far Beyond the Stars. It's a fever dream of Cisco's, and who's to say that Cisco didn't like recreate it before, or at least describe it to Jake, before he left.
I want to get back to all of this, but let's just quickly cut to the subplot for very, very briefly.
There was a subplot.
There was two to a degree. I want to be very brief on these. The first one was obviously with the other kids still having their issues with the warrior class of Starfleet. They're still fighting, putting fucking bullshit lines on the ground and stuff like that, as kids do. But that seems a bit too young, for these young adults, so to speak, to be doing shit like that with these guys. But they also go clubbing at one particular point, and they all get drunk, and then they throw a fight. And I have to be honest with you, seeing Sam punch that girl in the face was very satisfying. I don't know about you guys. That was great. But at the same time, what's his face? Caleb and the Betazoid chick,
the Betazoid girl.
Yeah, their relationship is almost becoming Romeo and Juliet now because they're part of two different factions.
Yeah.
So, anything to add on
it's
all
getting
of that?
Drawn out. That's getting drawn out. Like you go to school next to each other. You can hang out together. You can have a relationship. You don't have to be weird about it because you're rivals or whatever.
Yeah, fair enough.
Get on with it.
But obviously, the rest of their group want to divide. I mean, it's not just them, but also Jaden as well. He's dancing with that other lad. Let him have
Kyle.
fun.
It means Kyle.
Yeah. Jefferson, Cheetah, you got anything to add?
Not really about the subplot. I didn't care anything about. I really didn't care. Like maybe if we saw some of the interactions with like this alien race, that might have been a nice little diplomacy moment for the War College or whatever, or maybe see these two characters. But like, all we got was a cute little dinner tea party where we got to see, what's her name? Trig? I can't remember her name.
Tig Notaro.
Yeah, Jet Reno.
Yeah, Jet Reno. That's it. We got to see Jet Reno be Jet Reno.
I'm going to get to that subplot in a second. I want to talk about this one first.
Wait, which one are you talking about? I thought you were talking about
the kids at the bar and
the bar.
The kids at the bar. Nobody cares. Yeah. That was dumb.
I like that because I spent a lot of time in the bars when I was at Ohio State, and that was the campus life. You go out clubbing, you go out to the bars, and it reminded me of that. So it was like, wow, yeah. I mean, that's what it was. That's what it was like, and that part was cool. Now I've never been in a bar fight, uh, but
I have.
you.
Mm-mm.
Oh yeah. I mean, I've always wanted to, but it's
You really don't.
not like the movies, huh?
It's not too late.
So I was good with the club scene. Yeah, being
Okay.
at the bar drinking.
Okay, get to the next subplot, which is the part of the series where sorry, where I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. What was with Holly Hunter's character and the other dude who is part of the War Division? Like they have some sort of dinner going on. Look, leave my ear alone, you little bitch. Please,
Yeah.
please.
I don't know.
Yeah, but sorry, but all of that, and then the doctor's talking about this magnificent meal they're having. I like Jet Reno's sort of like vibe regarding all of this. Like, this is just bullshit, and what the fuck are we doing here? And and that fish as well. Like, if that is supposed to be what we're eating, I'm running a million miles away. I'm going straight to the nearest replicator.
Isn't that
and
an
getting myself a
actual
pizza.
like fish from Earth? Like, doesn't that look like? Isn't there a fish that
It looks like
the blobfish or whatever that thing is?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
it does
And
look like it. I thought
it-
that too.
It made a little puff.
So what was all this about?
We've actually
Boiling
seen
part of
this
the Atlantic
interaction with the-
Ocean.
Well, if we would have seen this interaction with this race, like this dinner, like the actual
That
people,
would
like
have been real
it would have been more entertaining than what we got here.
And the bloody the fish deflated and made the fart sound, and that guy got really offended. And I don't know what the fuck.
I have had enough of this.
I
He's so
had no
high strung.
idea. Yeah,
The
but
other
he
guy.
managed to laugh at himself at the end of it all.
Mm-hmm.
But are we
She's
able
growing
to
on him. It's because she has
Are
her
we-
shoes off all the time.
Yeah. Well, look, let's just put this shitty subplot behind this, because this is what my issues with the episode. It's not just about Sam; it's these moments as well. Like, I think they're poorly written and didn't make any fucking sense, and I didn't appreciate it. I wanted to. I want to like what I get given, but unfortunately, I just got to say it how it is. But finally, we're back onto Sam and her education. Jake Sisko appears. That must have been pretty cool for you guys, no?
It was nice, but it made no sense. Like, so somebody I read online, because I read a couple places online. Somebody thinks that this book that was handed to her was actually an artifact of the prophets, like, and that's why it was never published. That's why Jake was able to appear to her, but that kind of doesn't make any sense because she's photonic. I guess it could appear to her as a photonic, but like, again, I do like the way that they came about it, where it's like, here's this, like, how did you get your, like, they even answered the question. Like, it was kind of out of left field, where it's like, this person has this book, and I'm like, how does she have this book? Like, what's, and then when they revealed the Dax thing, I'm like, that makes sense why she would have the book, is because it's Dax. You know what I mean? Like, so that's the only good thing I found about the Dax symbiote showing up. But the Jake Sisko part of him showing up was nice, but I feel like, I don't know, it felt kind of like hand-fisted in there, in my opinion.
I just want to add this next bit myself, if you don't mind. I want Jake Sisko to be the Vic Fontaine of this series. You know what I mean? That'll be pretty cool. Having him come in and out as somebody from the past, but he's not obviously the original Jake Sisko. But I wouldn't mind that. I just also want to add to this moment as well that we mentioned how Jaden last week he needed a mentor, and it was what's her face, the half Klingon woman,
Luna.
Shimoda. Yeah, well, in this case, Sam has a mentor in the Doctor, because he's also photonic himself, and you can see to a degree that the Doctor, being alive for almost 1,000 years, that it's very hard for him to have relationships with people, because they come and go. He's like a bloody immortal from the Highlander series.
Yeah,
so many people.
Doctor.
Well, so many people have exactly become numb to it all. But he's like telling her, look, you don't want to get too close to people because they will die, and then you'll have to and all of that. And I understood his perspective.
I think there's more there with the doctor and all. I think because you think the doctor had no idea that there was like a photonic civilization. Like
I mean, it was just like in Picard where they pull the planet of synthetics out from their ass.
Yeah, I mean, and that's true. That is this exact same scenario. It's like so that but is this a part of is this race? This race then isn't a part of Starfleet because I thought that the planet of photonics was a part of Starfleet. So
no,
no. Sam's basically sent as like an emissary observer to enroll in the school, kind of like a foreign exchange student.
Yeah, and also nice touch as well. Them reminding us, was it Zimmerman, his creator?
Yeah,
we did see that one episode of DS9, and he brought that back, and obviously he had met Jake Sisko himself once Voyager got back to the Alpha Quadrant. But nice little touches and tie-ups and stuff like that. But when we get to and I want to start wrapping things up here a little bit, fellas, as we be speaking about this quite a lot. But when we got to the end of this episode, and we saw Jake once again appear and talking to Sam, these are the moments of the episode. As much as I had an issue with it, these were the episodes I did love. Filling in some of the gaps. Jake is a really good character. I would love to see Sarok, like I said, come back in this show at the hologram. That'd be great. But
this is the fever dream part I was talking about. It kind of made no sense to me. Like, I liked the part. Don't get me wrong. I really liked it, but it just was like.
If I like the theory you just mentioned, where the book had some significance, like that's where. Maybe some part of his consciousness was or something, or connected to him somehow. But when she was talking to him, it reminded me of when she's talking to her own people, where at the lunch scene where she just pauses, everything else pauses. She has this long conversation with them, and then she just snaps back in, and it happens in an instant.
I think that's also a matter of like how fast computers move compared to how fast.
But to me, that's where that was actually happening. It wasn't displaying in for everybody, because then Dax walks in and nothing was there.
I think it's one of those things where your narrative needs it, but you're not supposed to pay that much attention to it. Kind of like Spock being on a moon that's close enough to see the destruction of Vulcan, but not close enough to where it also gets pulled into. So
the black hole created,
right.
Oh yeah, the Kelvin universe that makes so much sense.
Leave the Kelvin universe alone.
I've said, me and my girlfriend just got through watching all 3 Kelvin movies. She really liked them. So, and I didn't sit there the entire time picking the movies apart because I could have, and I didn't because she was enjoying them.
Well,
just to get to the comments here before we wrap things up here. The first troll to be joined was still alive in pools in disco and was 25,000 years old. You know what? We have to listen to what Daniel Vance says. Daniel Vance knows best.
I think he. Oh crap! We lost Donkey. I believe Daniel Vance. I don't remember. Like, I don't remember that. I'll have to research that when I get done.
Why is Daniel
Vance at his word?
Why is everyone scared of a 3'5" Romulan girl? Because Romulans can hit very hard.
Yeah, Romulans are technically double the strength of a human.
Yeah.
Before we get too far away from it, so Jake calling Sam sister, that's Ebonics. That's African American slang. It's not meant to imply that he thinks that they're actually related. Sister, it's that really that's what it is. It's just it's slang. It's
that's sister. Jake Sisko just assuming everybody's human just because they're black. Jeez, oh Pete's. I mean,
you're killing me. It's like when we say bro.
Yeah,
bruh. Those guys aren't your brothers. what we call him, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It did come off though as like a little bit more like not like sister. It came up more off like sister. You know, like
Now we can't go too far with it. It's oh my god! Can you imagine the Trekbeard outrage if Star Trek went as far as to actually using slang in that manner? Do you know the size of the shit that Rick B would take over something like that? Oh my god!
They're already upset with them using like modern speaking mannerisms
Right.
instead of
People are
the
already
mid
upset enough that they're
galactic.
speaking like people
Yeah,
using modern
yeah.
language. Oh my god! If Sirach had pulled off a system, there would have been rioting in the streets from these angry Trekkies.
Anyway, Daniel Vance also said, anyone called Dax would play, but yeah, everyone knows about that one, dude. Give us some credit. Come on, I know you're the greatest of all time, Daniel, but we're not
Well, that got spoiled for me this morning.
I thought that was yep.
That one did get. I need to learn my lesson of until you've watched the episode, don't go anywhere on the internet. You can't go look at stock tips, Facebook, nothing. No matter what you open, it's like,
yeah,
I wasn't looking for it.
First thing I saw this morning was the gateway, and then it was that Tawny Newsom was in the episode. I'm like, oh, so there's some. So I thought they were going to use the gateway to go explore this whole thing.
Well,
With
I always knew Tawny Newsom was going to be in
this.
this series. I mean, when I knew they were making this series, I knew she was going to be in it. So there she is.
Well,
anyway,
and that's great. I'm glad they're keeping some good.
I felt really sorry for the Doctor hearing him talk about learning to live with loss. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's been showing signs all season that he struggled over the centuries.
That also is credit to Richard Picardo. He's a really good actor. Robert Picardo.
Yeah, he's a great actor. Surprised the Doctor doesn't keep track of any family from the Voyager family tree. Hope they show us more of who he became. Well, I think after he lost his Voyager family tree, I thought you meant the family he created. Yeah, fair enough.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I feel like I feel like that would make the show too much about the Doctor. And as I said, I love having the Doctor on the show, but I don't want him to be the focus. I love having him in the episodes. I love having him be the teacher. I love having him in subplots, but I don't think that we need.
It is about the kids. It is about the kids. But I wouldn't mind the other episode being about one of the elder characters. Sorry, Jefferson.
I was just going to say, so with the thing with the Doctor is, at what point, whether you're the Doctor or you're the Highlander or you're one of the people from Twilight, at what point do you have family, you get married, you have a child, you watch that child grow old and die, you meet another person, fall in love, watch them grow old and die, have a child, grow old and die. At what, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years? At some point, it kind of gets old to continuously outliving people, and you just kind of decide, you know what? I'm done. I'm not going to.
As soon as one of those little ingrates say 6, 7, I'd be done with that bloodline.
Oh my
Jefferson,
god!
Have you seen that movie with Justin Timberlake? I think it's called Out of Time with Justin Timberlake. Have you seen that movie?
Out of Time, yeah.
It sounds familiar.
It's one where basically currency's been changed to time, and so and you have a clock on your arm, and if that goes down to 0, you're dead.
It's a really good movie, actually.
I have to look that up. I don't think I've heard of that one.
But basically, one of the like billionaires basically have a shit ton of time. But one particular guy, he'd been living for 150 years, and he just I need to die. Like, I've been living, he's still young looking, he still looks young, but he's like, you know what, I just don't want to live anymore. And he ends up giving all his time to Justin Timberlake, who's just a poor guy with hardly any fucking time on his arm.
I'm 48. I don't want to live anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but
Fuck.
so I do
I look at
believe.
Dick Van Dyke turned 100, and it depressed me. Like, oh my god, it could go on for that long. Another
he
50 plus
he
years for
keeps
me.
himself he keeps himself fit. You know, what I mean, I'm not sure about the rest of us. I mean, that guy works out almost every day.
I'm
But
trying to
anyway,
keep it.
look, it's, a few more comments here. Why would the aliens make a low IQ hologram to go? She's not low IQ.
He already posted that earlier. Like,
oh, sorry.
Well, no, but here's my thing. He's asking it again because we didn't answer the question. The reason is plot. You know what I mean?
I would like IQ. He's just not knowledgeable. Like it's learning.
Why does any non-corporeal being send anything into the real world? Why do they send themselves into the real world? Like they do that all the time. They send themselves, and then like how many Star Trek episodes in your favorite era, the Berman era, did they send like the beings non-corporeal go in and take over people's bodies just to live as normal humans? You know what I mean? Like, and experience normal humans. Okay, so they sent a hologram instead. Whoop-de-doo! Like it.
No, look, you like them on these. You know, there's little things even in other series or other movies
I do.
that use sort of terminologies that are 20th or 21st century. Like I remember Uhura saying, "Well, that thing's got to have a tailpipe." Who would say that in that era?
Yeah,
you know
like
what I mean,
a tailpipe. They don't even have they don't have like automobiles that run on gasoline. You know what I mean? Like yeah, exactly. No, that's the perfect point, Zam. Is like, but my thing is like, who cares? Like, yeah, 32nd century. Like,
there's what future wording is. Yeah.
Sometimes I hate it when they make up slang that's like supposed to be slang in like 50 years or something. What is it like? DC loves to do that. They're like, well, all the slagging blah blah. You know, like
don't make it up. Just I have a much better time. My fiance and I just did a rewatch of Firefly recently, and something that I didn't notice before that for whatever reason now really stuck with me was them trying to interweave futuristic-ish slang with Chinese. This time around, I realized just how confused I was to what are they saying, and it was actually more of a distraction. So I appreciate the effort of trying to talk like it's futuristic and create your new words and slang. But I also appreciate the fuck it. We're gonna talk the way we talk today. We're not making up words because people aren't gonna understand it. We're just using today's language. Leave us alone.
Yeah, I mean,
I can respect that.
Yeah, as I said, it's not like let's just maybe the show has a universal translator on it, and it translated into. It translates it to our speak today. So when they start going,
it down.
If you want futuristic slang and language, just for the sake of it, go watch Firefly and tell me
put yourself
that you can't understand half of what they're fucking saying.
Put yourself in a cryogenic chamber, freeze yourself for 1,000 years, and then wake up when we're all dead and we don't have to deal with it anymore.
I'm going to get to the rest of the comments once we conclude
another lousy millennium.
This podcast, but just to conclude the episode, we never kind of got maybe the resolution we were possibly expecting with maybe Cisco coming back or her finding out where Cisco went or yada yada or what's happened to him. But we got some nice moments, obviously, with Jake as a fill-in my personal opinion. But doing it really well. Like I said, it was really good to see Sarok back on our screens playing this legacy character and all of that. So that was great. But then just to add to that moment of nostalgia and that's pretty cool as well. We find out that Sam's teacher regarding this particular project happens to be Dax, and that was a really, really cool moment. So we have a lot of legacy characters in this show now.
And honestly, I'm not that upset about it. As I said, to me, it just didn't make sense for the Dax symbiote to still be around. But honestly, am I mad about it? No. And honestly, if Tawny Newsom's a reoccurring character, I'm okay with that. I want her to be back the rest of the season. I like Tawny Newsom, and I think it's great because Tawny Newsome is a true blue Trek fan. Like she
Yeah,
actually
she
likes
is.
Trek. So I'm like, I would love to have somebody who loves Trek acting on the show who can help co-produce and kind of direct the show.
Yeah, and like I said, she wrote this episode as well, so she's
she
a
did.
lady of many talents. But yeah, so that was a nice little bookend to the episode regarding having one of Cisco's best friends now mentoring Sam, which was a really cool moment. And that was the episode, and those were the moments I did enjoy the most. Seeing Dax obviously come back, Jake Sisko mentoring Sam as well, those DS9 moments, and then when the episode ended, by the way, it said thanks Avery, and then we got the DS9 music, and then I thought to myself,
it's capped with the theme.
I thought to myself, hold on, is Avery Brooks dead? So I quickly, so I quickly went online and just checked. No, lucky he's 77. He's still alive. Thank God for that. You know what I mean? And by
I
the way,
flinched briefly from when I saw that too. I was like, "Well, wait a minute. No, he's okay."
Yeah, exactly. So
I think they were just basically saying thank you for, which I mean, let's be real. Like Avery Brooks. So I love Cisco. Like Avery Brooks's contributions to Star Trek since Deep Space Nine has been minimal at best. He wants to distance himself from Star Trek a lot. And unfortunately, I find that to be very, 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 I don't know what the word I'm looking for.
Insulting, upsetting.
A little bit insulting, only because it almost
like
seems
Tom
like
Welling not wanting to wear the Superman suit. I know what you mean. It's like that. And DeForest Kelly, he got pissed off. With his career was basically bones. And he wanted. I heard that he was upset that his career wasn't more than that. But sometimes you got to be happy with the cards you're given. As an actor, to be a legacy character, it's a great thing. I think some of these actors back, the oldest old school actors couldn't really appreciate it. But like some of the other actors nowadays, like the guy who plays Harry Kim, you don't see him in many things, but he'll always have that. He'll always be Harry Kim in Voyager and Star Trek. And it helps. And he
came back for an episode of Lower Decks. I mean, even the actress who played T'Pol, she had a very bad experience on Enterprise because of producer sexualization and everything, and just dealing with like the male misogyny on set and stuff like that with producers, not with the actors. I want to be very clear, but she has said that like she's dealt with a lot of shit back behind the scenes with a lot of like the producers and stuff like that.
There was in London there was a really cool moment where the last 5 captains, so that was basically from TOS down to Enterprise.
Yeah, the captain's log or whatever it was called, like the captain's chair.
Yeah, so you had Shatner and Stewart and Brooks and Bakula all there. And then there were talks actually of making a movie where the 4 captains who 4 of the 5 captains were going to come back and save Cisco and bring him back to Earth or something like that. To a degree, I'm kind of gutted that never materialized because
I'm not. I don't think that would have been good.
I honestly sounds more like the plot of a video game than a show.
Yeah, that's that. Well, there was a book that I think there was a beta canon book that did that, or at least it brought some of the captains together. But I think that would have been a bad. Like, look at how Star Trek Generations turned out. Like, I like a lot of Generations.
Star Trek Legacy.
I like Star Trek Generations, but like even that had mixed parts of it when you brought Shatner and Picard together.
Yeah, but the TOS guys were fucking over the hill. You know what I mean? So, and
there's only 3 of them left.
Well, no, I mean, but you can bring in like Paul Wesley or Chris Pine. You know what I mean? As a younger version. Fuck Shatner. I don't care about him.
Yeah, I agree. But it's a shame that I don't know. A part of me likes the idea of like these 5 legacy captains from the first 5 Star Trek series coming together, and 4 of them coming together to save Cisco. It's like the fucking A-Team, But
no,
anyway,
here's your plot right here. Okay, so you get Chris Pine as like Kirk, you get Tom Hardy as a young Picard. And then you get like Bakula, Mulgrew, and Avery Brooks to come back as
Yeah, you could do it. Yeah, you could do that.
Maybe this could be our Doctor Who crossover.
yeah,
And then the
right.
doctors can bond about being old and watching everyone they love die.
Well, look, the thing is with this series, though, by the way, that because we don't have like 22 episodes a season, we only got 10. Like having only a handful of episodes every season means that when we do get these character episodes, they are going to take up several of the episodes in the season. And now we do know that Caleb is that probably the main character of the show to a degree, and he still has his overarching thing with Paul Giamatti's character that has to be dealt with at some particular point. So we'll see how much some of the
that'll
other
be the last
characters.
2 episodes. I'm telling you that I called it from the very beginning of the show. It's going to be the last 2 episodes. Paul Giovanni comes back, and it's a 2-part finale.
But at the same time, I don't want every episode to be like a character episode. Sometimes it could be like a group episode to deal with a particular problem. We need to get something like that as well, and we need these guys to go into space at least 1 more or 2 more times this season. And regarding other characters, they might have to have their time in the sun next season when it comes to them having a character episode as well. But before we mark it, let's just quickly go to some of the comments here. Loss is loss.
I've been watching the comments. I mean, yeah, some of Rick B's are just.
I keep getting dogs every 15 years of my life. Their lives are far less than mine. I'll never tire of them as family. Yeah, dogs are cool.
I mean, he is true. That is true, though. It's like how we look at like dogs' lives and stuff. Like we can go through several dog lives in our lives, but we still hold them all very dear. But do you still keep, like, let's say that each one of your dogs has a litter of puppies. Do you still keep up with all of the generations of puppies? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
eventually
it would get weird for the doctor. Like,
it
yes, I knew
weird.
your great grandmother.
At some point you kind of have to step away from your lineage and just live your own quiet life away. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I mean, what would I have? Would I still be, if I was 1,000 years old? Would I have stayed in touch and contact with my entire line? I don't know. It's tough. But see, the thing is also is that to me, dogs are great, cats are great, but a child is different. There's only so many times you're going to be able to have a child that you see born and die, and you keep going and keep going and keep going. I mean, isn't that pretty much? Wasn't that something in these other shows of these hundreds of years old people, like in Highlander or
the
Vampire Family in Twilight?
The Immortals couldn't have kids, but they adopted, and they and they had people who they were their child. That one, I think in the first Highlander movie, Conor McLeod saves a young girl from the Nazis, but by the time we get to modern day, that young girl looks like his fucking mother. You know what I mean? Because she's grown up and she will die. His own wife died in the film as well. He stayed with her until she became old and died and stuff like that. And if you've seen Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey, he sees his daughter as an old lady by the end of the movie, because of time and shit like that. But regarding the comments, there's a bit of a back and forth between Rick B and Mage. Just to say to yourself, Rick B, let's not make too much of a big deal of the so-called intelligence of our hologram. Remember, they are intelligence is one thing. I mean, she might know various shit, but when it comes to interactions and cultural differences and stuff like that, they're learning, they're understanding, and they have to be in those moments to get it. And this is only season 1 and episode 5 of a particular series where, if we do get several more seasons down the line, this character of Sam might not be the same Sam we might see in season 4 or season 5. So appreciate all of these particular things, and understand that, Rick B. Yeah, and stop being a pick-me. And by the way, if you watched AEW, they were saying "fuck Ice." That must have broken your goddamn heart, But regardless, anyway, let's give it a mark, fellas. Starting with you, Donkey. What do you want to give it out of 10?
I mean, I really liked the whole episode. I didn't have much to take away from it. I'm going to give it a 9.
Okay, Cheetah.
The only one thing that I would have loved to have in this episode, which we could not have had, but I wish we would have had something from Nog. Like I know Aaron Eisenberg is passed away a long time ago, but honestly, one of the big, most influential characters in conjunction with Cisco has always been that scene with him in his office with Nog about why he wants to join Starfleet.
Mhm.
And honestly, even if they kind of like just read something like some kind of speech or something from Nog talking about Cisco and all that and his inspiration for being in Starfleet, I think that would have gone a long way. That was the last point I wanted to make, and I didn't really get to it. But I think overall, I think I'm going to give it a 6. There was a lot here that I didn't like, but again, there was definitely some stuff here that did work. I feel like if they would have leaned into more, what would have worked instead of the club scene and the rivalry with the whatever and the drunkenness and then this subplot that sucked ass. Like I feel like this would have had a higher rating for me. But I mean, what worked in this episode did, and that's only reason why it's getting a 6 from me is because there were definitely a good couple moments in this episode.
Jeff.
I was coming in on a 10, and then after thinking more, talking to you guys, I got down to a 9. Almost pulled me into an 8.
That's what Mage says about us.
Yeah, you guys are so negative.
Down.
No, it's not. It's not that. It's just when you watch something, and you may have one opinion of it when you're walking out of the theater. When the Phantom Menace first came out in '99, I went to the theaters like 2 or 3 times to see that. It's like, this is awesome. This is Star Wars. We got Star Wars again. But now I can't really sit through that movie. It's boring as shit. So your opinion changes. Your rating of something changes. And over the course of the day, I mean, I appreciate that they tackled bringing, talking about Cisco and going for that whole topic. I didn't mind the bar scene at all because I remember those days. I thought that the dinner party plot, I took that for what it was. I knew pretty early that was going to be just scenery. That was, we need to have a break in the action. It was a B plot because you have to have a B plot. And my expectations never got really high with that. So I kept the bar low. I would have to say, I think a 9. I think I'm going to settle with 9.
Quite critical, but you still give it a 9.
Yeah, it's close, man. I'm telling you, it's the weight of the Cisco really held it together. I think a weaker main plot would have brought me down to a 7 or an 8 if we had still had the same B plot and C plot.
Well, I'm afraid I'm going to be on the polar opposite to you guys today. But don't get me wrong, talking about this episode actually did elevate my score by 1 solitary point. So instead of giving it a 3 out of 10, I'm now going to give it a 4 out of 10.
I give it a 6. I mean, that's not that much higher.
Yeah, I just found it very hard to connect. Like I said, I thought the bar was raised really high and really well last week, and I do listen to other reviews and stuff like that. I do get this episode by, first of all, who it was written by and how it was portrayed, that he's trying to actually represent the character that we're watching as the main character, but it just didn't work for me. I thought some of the interactions, which was trying to be humorous, wasn't funny, and sometimes when they use this sort of music, I think to myself, it doesn't feel Star Trek. Like, it feels like it belongs on a different show. Luckily, the DS9 elements of it did help, but it definitely didn't save it, regardless of some really cool moments with Jake Sisko and Dax. Revelation at the end. It just didn't save it for me. So it gets a poor mark of a 4 out of 10, unfortunately, below average. As far as I'm concerned, and like I said earlier, last week was so good that if you're not going to be giving that level, as far as I'm concerned, then you're going to get a low mark, and this is it. But still, not every day can be a Sunday. Not every episode can be really great. There's always going to be shit episodes in every show you watch, and this happens to be the worst one for me so far. And I look forward to more. And I look forward to in future seasons, another Sam episode. I still want to see another Sam episode.
Hold on. This is worse than the prank war.
Yeah, I question you on that one. The prank war was better than this.
Even I didn't give that one I probably gave it a 7 or an 8.
I think I gave that one a 2.
I gave it a 7.
Oh,
what is going on?
It's just so that we can keep rotating squares.
What is going on?
Hollywood squares.
Because we've all disappeared, so it's got to be restreamed because it's not us.
Right. I was real close to an 8, but the thing I didn't bring up as to what helped it, and I'm not going to give this much charity all season, but there were some little things that I saw that a lot of people probably don't notice or see that I appreciate aside from just the focus on the story. I don't want to extend a review here. I'll just tell you that there were still that little things, attention to detail, that to me gives you a little bit of that push.
You just like those Cisco royalty checks. Get out of here. We know what you're.
I forgot to mention my 4 was also to do with that terrible subplot, which is also a significant part of the episode. I still to this day I don't understand what it was. I can't even make sense of it. And nobody else has tried to make sense of it either, because it was bullshit.
It was very bullshit. As I said, that if it had a decent subplot, it might have gotten a higher rating from me. But the terrible subplot and some of the bad parts of the main plot just brought it down for me.
Yeah, but both subplots, like the drinking part and stuff like that. I mean, I have no issues with them. Their kids are going to go out, they're going to get drunk.
Yeah, but that was a part of the main plot, though. You realize that, right?
Yeah, it was. It's just that you start focusing on other characters, and the reason why I have no problem with the prank war, because sometimes some episodes are not about an individual, but about the collective, and I like
it. Borg now.
The collective.
About the collective, about the group, and and playing pranks is what you do as a young person anyway. So I could appreciate that. Regard this little girl here, man. She's not letting me put my headphone back in. She's all on it. But yeah. All right. I think we're gonna wrap this up now. All
right.
Now that I'm home. You're going to do a hostile takeover? We're about to wrap up, man. Wait. Calm down.
She's excited for him to join.
No, that's he. She's on my...
He?
Look, it's 1:30 in the morning. It's almost 2 in the morning. I need to shut this fucker up.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us here. If you haven't already, please like, share, and subscribe to NerdTube, the greatest YouTube channel kind of maybe sort of heard of. Thank you, Jefferson, for joining us. Thank you, Lord Donkey.